Hello everyone, this is Payal Bhagat and I am here with my subject accountancy for standard 12th. As we all know, the entire country has been badly affected by coronavirus. As a result of this, everything around the country has been shut. So, to maintain consistency in the field of education and for the gain of students, this video has been created. Today, I am here to keep the enthusiasm of children intact towards accountancy. So, moving towards the subject, we have accomplished 3 chapters so far, and today we'll commence with chapter 5. But before proceeding with chapter 5, let us quickly revise the chapters that we have completed previously. So, starting with chapter 1, that is Introduction to Partnership. Now, we already know what partnership is. Partnership is when 2 or more persons join their hands together to carry out any business activity, and as a result of this, they'll be sharing the profit or loss. This chapter explains about the characteristics of partnership, various provisions of partnership, how a partnership firm works, and what are its characteristics. It also consists of the types of partners' capital accounts, profit and loss appropriation account, which are the 2 additional accounts to the annual accounts of 11th Commerce. The provisions of Indian Partnership Act are really very important to solve all the sums, that is short sums, which are asked from this chapter. The total weightage of this chapter is 4 marks, of which 1 is MCQ and a 3-mark short question. The chapter also consists of the long sums which form a base for the second chapter, that is final accounts. Final accounts has not been accomplished still. Hence, we'll quickly jump to the chapter 3, which is goodwill. Now, goodwill. Talking about goodwill, in simple terms, what is goodwill? Goodwill is reputation of the firm, an image that a firm has created in market. In simple terms, we can say goodwill is an intangible asset, or can say it is a value or reputation of a firm created in the market. In chapter 3, we are taught regarding the different methods for valuation of goodwill. Firstly, we are introduced with the definition of goodwill. That is, goodwill is the value of the reputation of a firm in respect to the profit earning over and above the expected profit. That is, the firm which makes higher amount of profit compared to the expected profit is likely to have a higher value of goodwill. Further, there is factors affecting valuation of goodwill, which forms an important part of theory. Basically, the weightage of this chapter is 6 marks, of which 1 is MCQ, 1 is VSQ, and a 4-mark question that can be some either a theory. The different methods for calculation of goodwill, or say valuation of goodwill, are average profit method, weighted average profit method, super profit method, and capitalization of profit method. There is also a 5th method which has not been listed here, which is a mixture of 3rd and 4th method. Now, the sums that we have learned in this chapter form a part of adjustment in chapter 5, while we'll be solving a long sum which is a part of chapter 5 will necessarily consist of few adjustment, of which 1 is from chapter 3 and is nothing but a sum of 4 marks that I have already explained. Further, moving towards chapter 4. Chapter 4 is a reconstruction of partnership. Now, we already know what is partnership. We have learned in chapter 1. talking about reconstruction of partnership. Reconstruction is the several changes taking place in ongoing partnership. This chapter is really very important and it forms a base for chapter 5. I have repeatedly instructed this every time that the ongoing chapter that you are doing will always consist of the basic concepts that have been explained in the previous chapters. So, if you are not sure or if you are not clear with the concepts given in the previous chapters, then it is little bit difficult to solve the sums of ongoing chapters. Chapter 4 is really very important to solve the sums of chapter 5. Reconstruction of partnership, that is, several changes which are taking place in the ongoing partnership because of several reasons, of which the two important reasons are admission of a partner and retirement of a partner. Admission of a partner is our today's chapter, that is chapter 5, and retirement of partner is the very next chapter. This chapter explains us regarding sacrificing ratio and gaining ratio. Sacrificing ratio is old share minus new share, whereas gaining ratio is new share minus old share. Further, this chapter also explains us regarding revaluation of assets and liabilities. Now, what is revaluation? Revaluation of assets and liabilities is the new value of the assets and liabilities. We have learned about the different journal entries in consideration with the same. Like when there is increase in the value of an asset, when there is decrease in the value of an asset, when there is increase or decrease in the value of a liability, and so on. These journal entries are extremely important to solve the sums which are given in chapter 5. If a student is not aware regarding the concept of revaluation account and the necessary journal entries, it is not possible to solve the long sums. So, it is advisable that you learn chapter 4 or revise chapter 4 precisely to solve the sums of chapter 5. Now, moving towards the main concept of today, that is chapter 5, which is admission of a partner. Now, considering it very simply, what is admission? Admission of a partner. Who is a partner first of all? Partner is an individual person who has joined hands with other person to carry out a business activity. Say for example, there are two partners, that is A and B. C is a person who is going to admit in the ongoing partnership. So, this is admission of a new partner. A partner can be admitted in continuing firm because of several reasons which are given below. When the continuing firm needs additional capital, what is capital? Capital is an investment made by the owner for commencement of its business. So necessarily, whenever a new partner is added in the firm, it is mandatory for a person to bring amount of capital and also an amount of goodwill, which is a part of chapter 3. Secondly, when the continuing firm requires additional managerial ability. Now, this clearly means that when two people are working together and they are not able to manage all the things, and hence they require an additional person who will divide the burden of the work. Then, when any continuing partner retires or dies, during this period of time, there is a requirement of a person to substitute the partner who has retired or dies. When skilled and efficient employees of a firm need to continue in the firm, therefore he is admitted by the firm as a partner. A person with extraordinary capability or some skills, the benefit of which is required by the firm. So the new partner is admitted. And lastly, for the distribution of risk of the partnership firm, distribution of risk is the result of the partnership firm. That can be profit, either loss. Loss can be considered in the terms of risk. More are the number of partners, less is the amount of risk. Further, whenever the new partner is admitted in the partnership firm, the share of the old partners reduce. So this is linked with chapter 4 regarding sacrificing ratio. We have learned sacrificing ratio equals to old share minus new share. Now, this is a very common thing. Say for example, to understand this concept, we'll consider a simple example. There are two partners, A and B. They are conducting a business activity. There is a partnership firm of Mr. A and Mr. B. Now, the amount of profit that these two people have earned during accounting year will be distributed among these two partners in their profit sharing ratio. Now, if C is admitted in the partnership firm, the profit at the end of the accounting year is to be distributed among 3 partners instead of 2 partners. So if earlier the profit was 60,000, if we are distributing it among A and B as per the old partnership terms, if the ratio was 1:1, so the amount of distribution would be 30,000 each. Now, after the admission of C, the profit is to be distributed among 3 partners in equal proportion. If the proportion is equal, then the distribution will be 20,000 each. So, you can consider a point from this, that is, the share of the old partners is reduced as a result of admission of a new partner. And that reduced share of partners is the sacrifice made by partners. So, an important point to be noted here is that always at the admission of a new partner, the old partners have to sacrifice. So, there are few short sums given for the explanation of the same. We'll start with the very simple example, that is illustration 1. I'll read the question. A and B are partners in a partnership firm sharing profit and loss in the ratio of 3:2. C is the new partner. C will be given 1/4 share in profit. We are supposed to calculate the new ratio. Of course, why we are supposed to calculate the new ratio? Because the new partner has been admitted and the profit sharing ratio now onwards will change. So, the old ratio is 3:2. Suppose the total share of profit is 1, and as given in the question, the share of C is 1/4. So, after you are giving 1/4 share to C, obviously the remaining share is of the remaining partners, that is A and B, and the remaining share is 3/4. So the remaining share 3/4 will be distributed among A and B in their old sharing ratio. The explanation is given below. You can see well, and hence, after obtaining the share of the partners, making denominator equal to present it in the form of ratio, the new ratio obtained is 9:6:4. 5. There are several more sums regarding the same concept that will be continuing in the next session. For today, I complete my session here. We'll see you all in the next session with the same chapter. Until then, stay home and stay safe.